And we're now joined by CBS Sports NFL writer Garrett Podell, who is on site out in Arlington on the heels of this wild overtime battle. And Cowboys coming out with the victory, but it was by no means aesthetically pleasing. But you were just with that team. I want you to give us just a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Just give me a peek of that atmosphere in Arlington and head coach Brian Schottenheimer's first win as a head coach.
Hey, Keiana, great to join you here post-game from AT&T Stadium, and the vibes truly cannot be higher. I mean, when I walked in the locker room after this game, players are smiling, high-fiving, laughing. I mean, it wasn't a perfect game. The defense didn't enjoy how they played, but, I mean, far and away, the story of this game is all-pro kicker Brandon Aubrey. The 64-yard field goal, longest ever to send a game to overtime, and then the 46-yard field goal to win it. And before he kicked that 46-yarder to win it, so I'm up in the press box. The entire AT&T Stadium started chanting, Aubrey, Aubrey, Aubrey. It's like if you've seen the movie Gladiator and the whole arena is chanting Maximus, Maximus. It was kind of like that, or like if you've ever followed a baseball team and they had an all-star closer like a Mariano Rivera and the whole crowd's going nuts, just the music's going. It was kind of like that. It kind of gave me goosebumps a little bit. And I'm not a Cowboys fan here, but yeah, it was an incredible moment. And CeeDee Lamb told me he's the GOAT. And Dak said he deserves, the music and the chants. And he simply said, that's sick. So far and away, there is no higher appreciation for a kicker in the NFL than what the Cowboys have with Brandon Aubrey.
Absolutely. Brandon Aubrey, let's say the hero of this game for Dallas, but I want to talk to one of the leaders of this team because you had the chance to speak with Dak Prescott postgame, who had a much more productive performance in week 2. George Pickens also getting more involved in the offense, but what were some of your takeaways from your conversation with Dak and how this offense has progressed?
I think one of my biggest takeaways from talking with Dak today was he's physically back. One of the first questions of his press conference after this game, someone asked about his long scramble that set up Aubrey's 46-yard field goal to win it, and he laughed and said, I told you I can run. My rehab went really well. He tore his hamstring in week 9 at the Atlanta Falcons last year, and he has extreme confidence now in his physical abilities. He's talked about how it sucked to go down halfway through last season, but he said that's given him a lot of time to really build back up, and he has extreme confidence, and he knew about his 13-game winning streak against the New York Giants, and he said he didn't talk about win 14 during the game, but after the game, he's looking around the locker room and said, 14 was hard, but that was one of those, he just said it's fun to be a part of these kinds of games. When you're out with an injury, he said he just prays and thanks God every time he runs on the field, and even though the defense came up to him and said, we're sorry for kind of blowing it there a couple times, he said, look, I threw an interception early in the game. You guys got a 4-and-out in the red zone. So everyone's kind of happy, complimentary football, and Dak is back physically.
A healthy Dak is certainly fantastic news for the Cowboys, but you talked about that defense because even despite the victory, Dallas did give up 454 yards on the day. Jerry Jones did speak to the media post-game and revealed the team's plans to sign free agent pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. I want to get your take on this move.
Yeah, I think this was very much a necessary move. I mean, we go back to week 1. They got a top 5 pressure rate in the NFL on Jalen Hurts, but they weren't able to bring him down. They only had the 1 sack a week ago. This week, they had a little more success against the 36-year-old Russell Wilson in terms of just the aggregate sack total, but really this is a pass rush that needs a lot more juice. They stopped the run really well today, but Clowney's going to be a necessary addition. And when I was at a practice this week at the Star, the team facility, I saw Jadeveon Clowney. He was watching practice from a balcony up above the practice field, and so he was surveying the scene and figuring out, is this something I want to do? Do I want to come join this team? And I think one of the factors that played a role in Clowney ultimately deciding to come here is his connection with head coach Brian Schottenheimer. So Schottenheimer was the Seahawks offensive coordinator during Clowney's one season in Seattle back in 2019. And Schottenheimer actually visited Clowney and his children, and Clowney was cooking some food for dinner, and they were laughing, exchanging stories. And one of his kids came, Schottenheimer goes, I don't know you. And Schottenheimer looks at him and goes, yeah, but you might really soon. And really soon ended up being today.
I feel like a lot of Cowboys fans, I know a lot of people are familiar, obviously, with Jadeveon Clowney, but also will be getting to know him more likely in these coming weeks. But also another, not necessarily addition to the defense, but we did see an uptick in snaps for Trevon Diggs. What's the latest that you've seen there in his night where he finished with three tackles and an assist on the night?
Yeah, I got to speak to him in the locker room after the game, and I directly asked him, you had 26 snaps a week ago, 59 today, which is a full starter's workload. No Duron Bland today with the foot injury, and he was honest with me. He said, I didn't plan on playing this many snaps this week. There was a plan to ramp him up, but out of necessity, he was just out there. And he said, while he was playing during the game, he felt fine, felt good. He said he's definitely going to wake up sore tomorrow, but he said, it says a lot about his rehab, and there were some headlines about it because he rehabbed away from the team facility in South Florida, and the team didn't appreciate that. But what Diggs has done is work hard, get back on the field, and even though it wasn't the cleanest game for Dallas' defense, he was out there, and he said there's some communication stuff we can build on. But ultimately, all Dallas fans are happy that he's at least out there and a presence, even though it wasn't the cleanest game.
Yeah, positive news nonetheless, seeing more snaps, getting more usage out of him. And then also once you bring in this new pass rusher that the Cowboys do have, certainly good things potentially in the future for Dallas. As always, Garrett, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. It was a wild, wild fourth quarter. A thrilling one, nonetheless. 41 combined points, 7 drives between the two, 7 scores. We had 5 lead changes. This is just the fourth quarter alone, putting up 330 yards. And then Brandon Aubrey, the hero of the game, with that 64-yarder to push this one into overtime. This one was as advertised. Maybe wasn't that primetime game that we got, but they sure gave us one on Sunday afternoon.